Hello and welcome to U.S. History e-learning for March the 25th. The day we look at the other side. We look at the Axis powers in World War II and the leaders that were in each of those countries. Um, this video is going to specifically look at Adolf Hitler to begin with. Adolf Hitler was going to be the leader of Germany. He was what was known as the Fuhrer of the Nazi Party. Now, the Nazi Party really just starts out as a political party, nothing more. Did have very, very extremist views, but were really just nothing more than a political party. Adolf Hitler is going to rise through the ranks of leadership within the Nazi Party. He was somebody who really had a very, very high opinion of himself. He did fight in World War One. He was actually originally from Austria, fought for Germany in World War One, and twice managed to survive when the rest of his platoon had been killed. If everybody around you dies and you live, you're going to start to get kind of a complex that, hey, I am intended to be here. I am supposed to be here. I am, intended for great things. So nobody's really going to be able to tell him, hey, you are wrong, because he's obviously in his mind going to be somebody that I can do no wrong. Um, so he winds up, joining the German cause there in World War One, and because of his experiences there, he is going to wind up getting involved in politics in Germany, leading into World War II. Now you got to understand, think back to World War One and what was going on afterwards. Things were pretty bad for Germany. So the average person, their lives, their economy are in shambles. Their country is in shambles. So they're really open to ideas that they wouldn't normally have probably paid attention to. That's where Adolf Hitler comes in. Adolf Hitler comes in and says, hey, Germans, you aren't to blame for your problems. Now, they made a ton of bad decisions that led them down the road that they were in. But he comes in and says, Germans, you are not the reason for your problems. There is a group living here that is the reason for your problems, and that is the Jews. Now, there are many that believe Hitler's hatred of the Jews most likely started when he was trying to get into an art school in Vienna. He applied, was rejected because he didn't paint people well enough. He believed that a majority of the people on the board making that decision were Jewish, and they just had something against him. So he wound up basically being homeless in Vienna, and a lot of people believe that that hatred started at that moment. So he comes along in Germany and says, "Hey, because you have the Jews living here, because they own businesses, because they are keeping money and not putting it back into the economy, that is why we have all the problems that we do." Germans, being in a situation where things were really, really bad, they were a little more receptive to ideas that they probably would have normally thought were kind of crazy. So he's going to wind up getting control of the Nazi Party, which then leads to getting control of a leadership position in the country, which turns into leading the country. Now, how it's all going to end for him, he's going to obviously be the military leader and the country's leader throughout World War II. How it ends, now, the official story is that he committed suicide in a bunker in Berlin. Once we get back from spring break and we start talking about World War II, we'll explore that a little bit more. That Adolf Hitler, leader of Germany.